I bought every popular Nishane fragrance so you don't have to. Usually in the past, when I've done these buying guides for brands, I've actually tried my best to get every single fragrance from a brand and review them in depth, give them all full wearings before I do the guides. However, recently I've noticed, guys, there are a lot of fragrance brands out there and there's only one of me and I have limited time as an individual. I realized that I kind of just want to speed through these brand buying guides a little bit more, but it's up to you guys. Do you want to see more quantity of these buying guides where I don't go as in-depth as I usually do? Or do you want me to slow it down and really try every single one from all the brand, basically all the fragrances? In today's video, I'm trying a new idea where I get the most popular fragrances, the most popular fragrance releases. I'm going to do a spray of the opening, give you my first impressions, and do the usual review of the scent profile, what kind of performance we're thinking, and usually we can just show up the Fragrantica general consensus for performance because, hey, that's not a bad way to get a general vibe of longevity. Then we can talk about also when I think you should wear a fragrance, who I think should wear it, and then my final score out of 10. But I'll do sort of like a jump in between the fragrances, guys. So I'm going to do one clip where I'm doing the openings, and then I'm going to do another clip later in the video where I've let the fragrance dry down for a few hours and give you my final thoughts. It's a new style for the buying guys, so let me know if you guys like this or not. Let's begin. If you guys don't know, we have our own fragrance brand called Atrium, where we are trying to introduce and explore new creative ideas in men's perfumery. You can get a well-rounded collection in one purchase through acquiring our discovery set of our Curiosity collection, which is now available. Use the link in the description down below. I've got 7 samples from the brand Nishane, who are a Turkish brand that do quite intense Middle Eastern style fragrances. They do both freshies and the sweeter stuff really well. They always feel quite thick, luxurious, and I think from all of the ones I've tried, they're all pretty beast mode as well, actually. So Nishane to me seem like a brand that are popular because they have a good reputation, because they do consistently good releases, long-lasting, strong, interesting perfumery. That's why I think they deserve all the success, and that's why I wanted to explore them more. I think I've tried most of the fragrances from today's list. I actually just picked the 5 top bestsellers from their website, the ones they have listed, and then I put in an extra 2 that I kind of get the impression are very popular because I just kind of see it on Fragrantica. I actually wanted to include Ege. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, the blue bottle, but I couldn't find it in my local store or in samples online, so I don't think it's the most popular anyway, so I'm gonna skip that one, but I would have included that in today's list as well. First, let's start off with their most popular. That is Hacivat. Hacivat is Hacivat, guys. A lot of us have smelled it. I've worn this several times as full wearings. I'm pretty familiar with this fragrance. Because I have limited skin space, I'm going to spray it on a paper strip because I just want to leave the space for the fragrances I'm less familiar with, although I've tried most of these in today's list. Just because I've worn Hacivat so many times, I'm just so familiar. Let's get a quick spray. By the way, shout out to Perfumista. They're not sponsoring today's video, but I've gotten all the samples from today's video from them. So if you're based in the UK or any of their other regions they ship to, check them out. They do very good, reliable service and great samples as well. It smells so sexy. You gotta love oak moss with Hacivat. I said it before, I mean, I can just skip straight to the point, guys. This is a 10 out of 10. It is very luxurious, thick, juicy pineapple with some nice citruses in there, a lot of oak moss. The oak moss is beautiful. It's like earthy, mossy, of course, a little bit sweet, ambery, handsome. It's like Creed Aventus was made to be much better value for money, more beast mode, a little bit more mature and masculine as well from the oak moss. It just smells rich. It smells like it's worth its price tag, although I think you can actually find it at discounted sometimes. It lasts 14 hours in my experience. I don't think they've, well, at least from this sample, it doesn't seem like they've reformulated it because this still smells strong, beastly. This would be like at least medium projection, medium to loud. And it's your signature you wear all year round, maybe not in the intense summer heat, maybe in the summertime, save it for the cooler evenings. But yeah, you're gonna get great wearability out of this as well. It's a 10 out of 10, guys. It's a classic. Next up, let's do one that I'm still fairly familiar with. That is Wulóng Chá. And I think this is a tea leather-based citrus summer fragrance from my memory. I have quite a good familiarity with it. I have a quite strong memory. I remember this being a great summer fragrance. Yeah, clean, crisp. Leather is definitely a strong part of this fragrance. Citrusy. It has sort of like a green tea effect, quite a calming tea effect. If you like fragrances like Silver Mountain Water, Xerjoff's Renaissance, it's kind of in that style. Quite a calming, relaxing fragrance. Mature and masculine in my opinion. I would say wear this in the spring will be the best season for it. Absolutely. Summertime as well as the autumn time. So for this new style of buying guide, I want to smell the fragrances on their own, kind of give you my impressions, and then look at the notes as well on screen. And I'm seeing as a fig note, I'm not really getting that. I'm getting those citruses, the orange and the bergamot mixed together, the tea, of course, but I'm definitely getting a leather note in here as well. I'm surprised it's not listed. This feels like it's getting that longevity, because I remember this has good performance as well. I think it lasts at least 8 hours for a summer freshie. That's very good with the medium projection. I think it is from the leather accord or some sort of leathery note that gives it that. But I'll comment on the dry down later on in the second part of the video to give my final score, but I kind of already have the final rating in my head. 37.9% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys really want to see our channel grow, go ahead and click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Let's go back to Sultan Vetiver. I've given this several wearings as well. I had like a 1 ml back in the day, and I kind of remember the note breakdown already. I think it's like Vetiver on top of Vetiver on top of Vetiver. This is a Vetiver lover's dream. Like if you love the notes of Vetiver, this is the dream fragrance for you. I remember this being very intense. Yeah, super smooth, intense, pure Vetiver, green, smoky, a little bit woody. It has that smoky grass of Vetiver. It has like every type of Vetiver on there. You get more smooth, creamy, velvety Vetivers, or you get those more smoky, intense, sharp Vetivers, and I feel like they just use all of them. Whoever designed this fragrance just clearly loves Vetiver. If you love Guerlain's Vetiver, you like Grey Vetiver, you really love your Vetiver fragrances, this is a dream. It's not for everyone though. This is definitely very polarizing. Yeah, now I'm looking at the notes myself, and it has like 4 different types of Vetiver. You can tell they're using very high quality Vetiver. That's what I like about Nishane. They feel like they're worth your money. They give you really good quality materials. Neroli, pepper, leather, potentially, you know what, if you like Dunhill Icon, you might like this. They're not the same at all, but if you like that kind of style that's clean, fresh, sharp, and mature, and Icon as well, I think had a Vetiver note in there as well. So I think if you like that fragrance, you might like this as well. And I remember this being beast mode. Just smelling it now, I can tell this is going to last 10 to 12 hours. This is potentially the ultimate Vetiver fragrance. And lastly, on my left arm, let's go back to Arni, which is a fragrance I've sampled when I walked past the Nishane boutique a few times. I think I've tested it maybe twice. I kind of know this fragrance, but again, I'm getting less and less familiar, it seems, as I go through this video. Let's spray it on the back of the hand. Arni is quite a floral, sweet, ambery scent from what I remember. Yeah, gorgeous floral, a little bit fruity perhaps. A little bit of caramel. I know it's got a very good quality vanilla as well in here. This is like unisex, really sexy, very well blended. To me, this is kind of like tuxedo, but more something I would wear. I feel like tuxedo is a little bit overrated. It's not that complex for the price you're paying. This feels more niche, and I think it's probably a similar price tag. It just feels like it's more worth it. It has a similar style, a little bit dark, patchouli, vanillic, ambery, spicy, floral. Okay, so maybe that fruit note was from blackcurrant, cardamom as well. Yeah, it has that sweetness, that warmth that cardamom can give. Ginger is very surprising. I'm not really getting that. I'm not really getting the pink pepper or the ginger. I'm getting more of those heart and base notes, but I think this is a gorgeous fragrance. You can see why I think it has such similarity to tuxedo. You can actually put the note breakdowns on screen next to each other. You can kind of see the similarity. To me, this is a unisex, sexy, probably an evening scent, autumn, winter, and just about springtime as well. See how the longevity it is, but it kind of seems like it's a bit of a softer projection. It's more like a base heavy, closer to the skin, but long lasting wall of fragrance, if you know what I mean. It's very sexy. Let me see how it dries down. Next up, we have 100 Silent Ways, which to me, I don't really know anything about this fragrance. I don't think I've ever tried this before. So this is truly a first impression now, guys. If I'm right about that, I've never tried this before. 100 Silent Ways. I don't think I remember anything from this fragrance. Okay, 100 Silent Ways. Does this have coconuts in here? It smells floral, a little bit fruity, a little bit warm and vanillic. It smells a bit more feminine, to be honest. Not their best work. It kind of smells a little bit synthetic, a little bit generic. If you're paying that Nishane price tag, I feel like Hacivat definitely stands out more. Yeah, it has all those white florals. I'm seeing the Orris. Okay, I'm not picking up Orris right now, but Orris is a bit more in the heart and the dry down. So I think this is a very milky, creamy fragrance. That's probably why I'm getting a sort of coconutty, creamy vibe. Yeah, I got the peach. There's the white florals, the vanilla in here. It kind of feels like, okay, like a youthful, fun, younger girl's fragrance. It feels feminine to me, but it feels like it'll be long lasting. I think that a certain kind of woman will enjoy this. I'm not feeling this right now, but let's see how it dries down. Okay, we've got Fan Your Flames. Now, is this the coconut one? I think there is a coconut one in here, and really, I can't remember anything else apart from that for this fragrance. I can't, again, this is like, yeah, this is definitely more of a first impression here. Fan Your Flames. Okay, I can see why they call it Fan Your Flames. It smells a bit fiery. Is there like a violet leaf note in here? This is sharp, spicy, maybe woody, maybe another vetiver note is in here perhaps. This is very aromatic, a lot more aromatic than I expected it to be. I thought this would be more like a spicy, warm scent. This is a bit more fresh, but in a very interesting, intriguing way. So I would say it's a little bit fiery, a little bit spicy, aromatic, fresh. I'm wondering if there's vetiver or lavender in here to give it that aromatic touch. I don't know if I have the right fragrance because it's my analysis is extremely different to the note breakdown. I feel like the note breakdown is very simplified. I feel like there's a lot more going on here. Yeah, potentially the tobacco. I feel like maybe the tobacco will come out a little bit later on. The rum, maybe. I feel like actually now that I'm reading the notes, yes, as it always is with perfumes, guys, your brain gets compromised, your brain gets influenced, and you kind of start smelling it. But I definitely think there's a little more going on in here. There is a spiciness in here, but I can see why this would be a tobacco rum fragrance, but not a very sweet one. It's definitely still on the fresher side, and I'm sure there's a vetiver nose in here. I feel like the same, one of the vetivers they use in Sultan Vetiver is in here, so maybe my nose is getting crossed over maybe. But this is surprisingly balanced. If I was just to look at a note breakdown of this, I wouldn't be, I wouldn't expect such a balanced fragrance. Potentially you can wear this in the daytime. I definitely need a bit more time on this one. Let's see how it dries down. And then lastly, I saved the millionaire fragrance for last because this fragrance is called Nefs, and this is, I think, $1 bazillion. I think it's one of their more expensive fragrances that I'm very intrigued to try out because such a high price tag. I'm having very high expectations. Okay, very interesting straight away. I'm wondering if there's orris in here. It's a little bit buttery, smooth. It's very creamy, fruity. It feels very complex. This is not like a superficial fragrance. This is not the one for a superficial guide, but sweet, resinous. They've probably used some very expensive ambery resins in here. Woody, creamy, buttery, sweet. I would say this is unisex leaning a little bit feminine, and it smells a tiny bit animalic. I feel like there's quite a bit of challenge in here. Oh, very interesting note breakdown. This is very, very interesting. So maybe the animalic touch is from the jasmine. Jasmine can have an indole molecule, which gives it an animalic effect, as well as oud as well in here. It depends what variety they've used. But yeah, this is a very complex fragrance. Honey, fair enough. I can see, I can appreciate that. Yeah, woody, sweet. Rose, okay, potentially the rose will come out more. Fig, I can appreciate that as well. It's quite a luxurious, thick, syrupy fragrance that I can't really comment that much on right now. It smells like luxury. It smells unisexually feminine right now. I'm going to give myself 2 hours now. I'm going to go record another video, and then I'm going to make some dinner as well. And then around after 2 hours, I'll have a second clip where I do like a quick run through of each fragrance. And I'm going to give you my final scores out of 10 and let you know which fragrances are worth buying. Okay, I'm back, guys. It's been approximately 2 hours. I've got the dry downs of all the fragrances. I've had my experience with them. Let me give you my final thoughts. Going back to paper strip Hacivat, it just smells so rich, musky, clean, luxurious. This almost is like Nishane beat Creed themselves to Aventus Absolute. It feels like if you like Aventus Absolute, but you feel like it's overpriced, this is better value for money. You can often get it at a much better price and online discounters as well. It's a 10 out of 10. Wulóng Chá, creamy, clean tea musks, and I think the leather note is there as well. It is very pleasant and it's long lasting, but to me, it's not the most complex Nishane fragrance, but still very solid. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And I would say it's unisex, but leaning more on the masculine side overall. Sultan Vetiver, the materials just smell so rich, complex. They just change on your skin. It just feels like you're wearing something extremely expensive. I'm not sure if those Vetiver notes took like years to harvest. You just don't get this kind of Vetiver anywhere else. Aromatic, clean, very unique. It's definitely focused on a specific theme. Like, you're not going to get much more than Vetiver in this sense, but that's what it's all about. I still think it's a masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10. And yes, definitely a masculine signature that I don't think you should wear in wintertime, but I think in all other 3 seasons, it's going to work very well. Arnie is pleasant. It becomes more creamy, a little bit more vanillic. I feel like vanilla is the main aspect of this fragrance, like vanilla and amber. It's sort of like it's Grand Soir had a baby with the style of something like Ombre Nuit or a Tuxedo by YSL. If you had to pick between those 3, Tuxedo, Ombre Nuit, and this, for me, I'd personally go for this. Even though I give Ombre Nuit a 10 out of 10, I'd give this a 9 out of 10, even though I prefer it a little bit more. It's just, to me, I wish it was a little bit more alive on my skin. It doesn't feel like it's projecting enough for the price you are paying. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's still a very solid, cooler weather evening scent, very sexy, definitely unisex. 100 Silent Ways. Now, I kind of said this was a little bit generic and synthetic on the opening. In the dry down, it becomes a bit more sexy, a bit more creamy, a little bit more musky. Has a nice balance to it. I feel like this would be a cooler weather, young persons, or you're like a young girl, or even actually all age groups could probably rock this, as long as of course, you're looking for a feminine fragrance. This would be a nice cool weather signature. It's a bit unique, complex, a little bit synthetic in the opening, but actually I think it's pretty solid on the dry down. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. Fan Your Flames. Okay, on the dry down, I'm getting more of those notes that's on the breakdown. It's kind of reminding me of like a middle ground between Jazz Club and Xerjoff Dawn, the fragrance from Xerjoff that has like gunpowder in the snow breakdown. This smells like a more wearable version of something like Xerjoff's Dawn. Boozy, it's got that coconut in here, it's got tobacco. It doesn't smell like these notes in the opening for sure, but I still think, yeah, that no breakdown is coming through now. It is still very fresh, still very balanced. I feel like this would be a cool weather scent you'd wear in the autumn, winter, and evening time, definitely more on the masculine side. It's not that complex. I'm not sure if it's worth this price tag. It's not a standout in the brand, but I just feel like Nishane is so solid that a lot of the fragrances are going to get high ratings. I would still give this an 8 out of 10. This is still very pleasant and worth sampling. And lastly, we have Nefs, which to me, I'm still getting that ambery resinoids in here. I feel like they're using some expensive resins. I think the oud in here is not a huge amount. They're probably using real oud, but like a very small amount. That's non-challenging. It's not a challenging oud at all. It's just very creamy. Maybe it's coming from those white florals, creamy, a little bit resinous, a little bit of that safe oud in here, and horribly overpriced. This is definitely not worth the price tag. So yeah, I don't know. I think I saw this for around £500, which is probably around $600. That is not worth the price. I think maybe half it, slash it in half, and then see. You know, I'll probably give this a full wear because it's such an expensive fragrance. I've got the sample. Even the sample is not that cheap, but yeah, I don't know why it's so expensive. It's definitely pleasant. It smells great. I think it's unisex, leaning a tiny bit feminine, but I think you could wear this in the autumn, winter, and spring as your day or night signature. But for that price, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's definitely a nice fragrance, but that price is crazy. And that concludes today's video, guys. This video is a little bit reminiscent of our mini buying guide for Byrita, where we only bought 6 of their fragrances. And this style is for me to be able to get through more brands a little bit faster and kind of just pick out their most popular stuff, because some of these brands have too many fragrances and they're always releasing more and more. It eventually just becomes a little bit impossible to get all of them because you really need to take your time with each one. Also, as I said before, you can get the longevity and projection from Fragrantica, which I think is a nice summary of the general impression that the community gives for a fragrance. And I feel like the first few hours of a scent gives you the general impression of a scent as well, of a scent profile. So I don't know if you need the late dry down. I'm going to tell you guys, you know, if I'm not enjoying the fragrance in the first few hours, I'm not going to recommend it just because, you know, 6 hours in there it becomes good. I feel like you get a general impression, you kind of get the gist. This is not a perfect guide, guys. This is quite more surface level, but hopefully you still got a lot out of it and you are being highlighted the best scents from each brand. I feel like Nishane are a very solid niche brands, as you can tell from my scores. They're very consistent. I think you guys should check them out. I believe they do sample sets or discovery sets on their websites themselves. My favorites from the brand are still going to be Hacivat, Sultan Vetiver, Wulóng Chá, and probably Ani. Ani is very pleasant to wear, quite an easy evening scent to rock. I think it's very pleasant, very good as well. If you tried any of these fragrances or you're interested in trying any Nishane fragrances, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you check out that previous mini buying guide to Byrita up here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.